Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Rainuan Syafiqah binti Wan Azman. My ID number is 2020997135 and I'm from RAS 2454B. In this video, I will talk about noise pollution. I'm pretty sure that everyone knows what is pollution, right? So, pollution is the presence of impurities or pollutant substances in sufficient concentration levels, causing harmful effect on humans, animals, or material resources when exposed for an excessive duration of time. Noise is derived from the Latin word which is nausea, which means the unwanted sound or sound that is loud, unpleasant, or unexpected that caused by the vibration of the matter. The vibrations hit the eardrum of a person or animal and cause a nervous disturbance, which we call it as sound. But when the sound has an effect that are undesirable, it is called as noise. By definition, noise pollution is the disturbing or excessive noise that may harm the activity or balance of human or animal life. The source of most outdoor noise is mainly caused by human activity, particularly urbanization and the expansion of transportation and industry. Road traffic, jet planes, garbage trucks, manufacturing activities, and lawn mowers are all the main sources of these unpleasant sounds that are routinely blasted into the air. This outdoor noise can be summarized by the word of environmental noise. So next, we need to know the sources of this noise pollution. Other than the sources that have been mentioned before, railroads, airplanes, construction sites, consumer products, fireworks, and many more can also be the sources that contribute to this noise pollution. In other words, we can say that the transportation system are the main sources of the noise pollution, especially in most urban areas that are also known as metropolitan area. For example, Tokyo, Mumbai, Dhaka, Mexico City, Jakarta, New York, and many more. Other than that, the construction site of buildings, highways, and streets that cause a lot of noise are due to the usage of their equipment such as air compressor, bulldozers, loader dump trucks, and pavement breaker. For noise measurement, most environmental noise are measured by a few simple methods. In every measurement, we need to take into account the frequency content of the sounds, the overall sound pressure levels, and how these levels change over the time. Sounds are made when the air moves in an airway that makes them sound, and sound pressure is the simplest way to measure this movement. The pressures were measured using a standard sound pressure, which generally corresponds to the threshold of hearing at 1000 Hz, is used as the basis for all other measurements. In other words, the sound pressure level measures how loud the measured sound is compared to the threshold of human hearing. Because the human ear can detect a wide range of sound pressure levels, which is about 10 to 102 Pascal, they are measured on a logarithmic scale with the units of decibels. In simpler words, we can say that the louder the noise, the higher the decibels will be. So now we will be covered on the classification of noise. Noise can be divided into two groups, which are community noise and occupational noise. Community noise is also known as the environmental noise or domestic noise. It is defined as the noise that emitted from all sources except at the industrial workplace. The main source of community noise is the road, rail, air traffic, construction, public work, and the neighborhood. The neighborhood noise is included with the music, sport event, and the domestic animals such as barking dogs. As for the occupational noise, the sources of this noise is mainly from industrial machinery and processes such as gears, turbulent fluid flow, electrical machines, drilling, crushing, compressors, and many more kinds of machines. The emitted sounds were reflected from floor, ceilings, and the equipment itself. As we can see here, these are some of the latest issues regarding noise pollution that we can see from online news. From this news, we know that noise pollution is not only affect humans, but also affect the animals and marine life. Hence, these problems are not new to us. The noise pollution has always been a concern since 2010s, especially in developing countries. According to India's Cyber Laws and News, in 2008, a study has been done by the Environment Ministry shows that the noise pollution levels in residential areas like Saket in New Delhi and Kolkata were 30 to 40% higher than the standard permissible noise, which is about 55 decibels. Noise pollution is an invisible danger as it cannot be seen, but it's there, both on land and under the sea. To put it simply, noise pollution is any undesirable or disruptive sound that has an adverse effect on health and well-being of humans and other organisms. The effect of noise pollution on human health is hearing impairment. Hearing impairment is defined as an increase in the threshold of hearing. The hearing deficits may be accompanied by the tinnitus, which is a ringing in the ears. So, there is a general agreement that says that the exposure for more than 8 hours to sound levels that are more than 85 decibels is potentially hazardous. The 85 decibel is roughly equivalent to the noise of heavy truck traffic on a busy roads. Other than hearing impairment, most people also experiencing sleep disturbance due to the noise pollution. Sleep disturbance may cause primary effect during the sleep, such as the difficulty in falling asleep, awakening, increase of body movements, and also the alteration of sleep stages or depth. And for the secondary effect, it can be assessed the day after the nighttime noise exposure. So, for a good night's sleep, the equivalent sound level should not exceed 30 decibel ampere for the continuous background noise. And as for the individual noise event, it should not be exceed 45 decibel ampere. At a certain levels and duration of exposure, it can cause physical damage to the eardrum and the sensitive hair cells of the inner ear, and it will be resulting in a temporary or permanent hearing loss that is known as noise-induced hearing loss or NIHL. The hearing loss does not usually occur at the sound pressure levels below 80 decibel ampere, but most people who repeatedly exposed to more than 105 decibel ampere will have the permanent hearing loss to some extent. In addition to causing hearing loss, the excessive noise exposure can resulting in raised blood pressure and pulse rates, cause irritability, anxiety, mental fatigue, and many more. Other than human health effect, noise pollution also causes damage to the animals of marine and wildlife. A wide range of animals such as insects, frogs, birds, and bats rely on sound for a variety of reasons. The noise pollution can interfere with an animal's ability to attract a mate, to communicate, navigate, find food, or avoid predators, and thus can be an existential threat to the vulnerable organisms. According to the National Geographic Society, the increasing noise pollution is not only affecting animals on land, but it is also a growing problem for those that live in the ocean. Ships, oil drills, sonar devices, and seismic tests have made the once tranquil marine environment loud and chaotic. Whales and dolphins are particularly impacted by the noise pollution. These marine mammals rely on the echolocation to communicate, navigate, feed, and find mates, and the excess noise will interfere with their ability to effectively echolocate. So this is the impact of noise pollution on social and economic costs. Taken from the Environmental Pollution Center's website, the World Health Organization (WHO) stated that 1 out of every 3 Europeans is adversely affected by the traffic noise. Noise pollution has a far-reaching societal and economic implication beyond its own health consequences. The noise pollution that disrupts sleep which impairs an individual's ability to perform at work during the day, increases the risk of hypertension and cardiovascular disease, and lowers a child's academic performance. In controlling noise pollution, the noise control ordinances and rules at the municipal, regional, and national levels can be useful in mitigating the adverse effect of noise pollution. The environmental and industrial noise is regulated in the United States under the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 and the Noise Control Act of 1972. According to these acts, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration has set up an industrial noise criteria in order to provide the limits on the intensity of sound exposure and on the time duration for which that intensity may be allowed. Other than that, the countries should give priority to precautionary measures that prevent the noise, but they must also implement the measures to mitigate the existing noise problems. The most effective mitigation measure is to reduce noise emission at the sources. Therefore, regulation with noise level limits for the main noise sources should be introduced. The main noise from traffic on highways is rolling noise. This may be reduced by using the quiet road surfaces or by the selection of quiet tires. The road traffic noise may also be reduced by providing the speed limits for each vehicles. For example, by reducing the speed of trucks from 90 to 60 km per hour on concrete roads would reduce the maximum sound pressures by 5 decibel, and it is equivalent to the sound pressure level of 4 decibel. Decreasing the speed of cars from 140 to 100 km per hour would result in the same noise reduction. As for the railway and tram noise, the main sources of noise are from the engine and the wheel-rail contact. Noise at these sources can be reduced by a well-maintained rails and wheels and by the use of disc brake. Depending on the type of railroad material, the sound pressure levels might be varied by more than 10 decibels. The rubber wheels could be used in order to replace the steel wheels on train and trams, which could significantly reduce the train and tram noise. Lastly, when using the machines and equipment, the consumer must know that the machine will come with the noise emission. The control measures such as design, installation, enclosure, and maintenance need to be considered before purchasing the machine and equipment. The introduction of sound labeling is a major tool for reducing the noise emission of products on the market. According to the European Union, the permissible sound levels and sound power levels must be specified for a variety types of machines, including the lawn mowers, construction equipment, and also home appliances. So, that are some of the ways that we can use to control noise pollution. But actually, there is a lot more ways that we can use to control the noise pollution. So, that's all from me. Thank you.